Hey everyone, Tech Steve here, and right here is a bunch of information on the Sony Bravia 9. This is a follow-up video from the unboxing that we did, and on this video we're going to go over a lot of different things about this television. Now keep in mind, I've already went over gaming on the first video, so if you're a gamer, go check that out. But on this video we're going to break down just about everything that I could think of that's possible for you to make the best buying decision, and we're going to go over some tutorials of the menu so you can see what's involved deep down into that system. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. The first thing I want to mention is that this TV supports up to 4,000 nits of peak brightness, and the 65-inch has 1,512 local dimming zones. And at first I was thinking, why does a TV need 4,000 nits? Well, it has to do with the details of the picture. For example, Sony has a reference monitor called the BVM3110, and this monitor shows an example of what 4,000 nits can do. It's all about bringing in those details that we miss in some of the movie scenes, and the Bravia 9 has the same type of technology built right into it. And the Bravia 9 has a unique local dimming technology that's designed to maximize pixel by pixel, as you can see in these examples, how well it can perform to give you the best picture quality. The design on the Bravia 9 screams out quality. This TV looks fantastic with this nice stealthy look on it. It uses premium material like aluminum on the frame, and it has a new pedestal design where you can put the feet on the inside, the outside, plus you can raise it up and down on both levels. The Bravia 9 supports the hands-free Google voice commands, and the remote control has lights on it for late night viewing. This TV does have Wi-Fi, plenty of USBs, and it does have two HDMI 2.0s and two HDMI 2.1s. There is a drawback as far as the inputs because the two HDMI 2.1s on the back of it, one of them is eARC, so if you decide to add a soundbar to this television, that leaves you with one HDMI 2.1, which is unfortunate, but maybe in the future they'll add 3 or 4 of them. The 70-watt audio system is amazing. We're talking about 2 subwoofer, 2 up-firing speakers, and 2 frame speakers. And I think if you get the Bravia 9 audio system, it's going to be insane, but for the TV speakers, it's pretty rock solid. Here, take a listen.
This is a Tech Steve audio test. For the next few moments, sit quietly and experience the range of this TV's audio capabilities as we test the boundaries of sound. This is the end of the Tech Steve's audio test and transmission.
And I would tell you live, the audio system is phenomenal. The fact that it can produce such a low bass response without vibrating the chassis is a plus. Now let's get into some things that you really want to see, and that's the picture quality on this television. First of all, I want to show you the upscaling on this television, and Sony's known to have one of the best upscaling on the market. Even if you look at the 480p content, it's crystal clear. The only problem is that this TV no longer has a zooming feature where you can fill up the screen, and I'll show you that a little bit later when we get to the menus. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't watch any 480p content, but if you happen to have old home movies or anything that was recorded back when we had the big square televisions, this might be for you, but I think it's far and few for the masses of people who watch content. Most people watch 720p and above. Now, how does Sony process these images so well? According to Sony, conventional AI can only detect and analyze picture elements like color, contrast, and clarity. What makes this XR processor better and more expensive, I would think, it cross-analyzes hundreds of thousands of elements all at once. And one of these elements is focal points, which detects where humans tend to focus the most. Now that might seem very technical, but it works. For you sports fans out there just watching regular television, one thing that really stands out to me when I was testing out this television is the colors. Sony's color science is one of the best on the market. And maybe that's what you're paying for in a lot of cases. TV on this level, at the price it is of $3,000, I think it has a phenomenal picture, but can you justify the price to get this type of performance? So now we're going to check out some movies, and I'm using the Apple TV because the Google operating system automatically detects the system, and this is going to allow me to override any of the settings on the television so we can see how SDR and HDR looks like on this television. But since we're going to be doing movies, let's go ahead and turn off the lights. So the first thing we want to check is SDR content, and I will tell you that this TV will support Chroma 444 to give you better colors. Now that part is set up, let's go check out some movies. So here's some SDR content, and here live, I would say that this TV looks crystal clear. This is Disney Plus, and I like to use this format just because I know their content is top notch. So let's find a scene like right here, and then we can see the different picture settings. So here's the vivid mode, and it does wash out the picture quite a bit, but I will tell you that it is blinding how bright this television is at this particular point. But let's check out a few other picture profiles. Next we have standard mode, and this mode is something that a lot of people probably watch on a daily basis. The colors on it are decent, they're really flat, but at the same time, this is one of those modes that I think that if you don't really know what you're doing, you can use this mode just for watching everyday TV. And now we have cinema mode, and if you can see the difference between standard and cinema mode, you do lose a little bit of the colors, plus I would say that you also get a more warmer look, but a lot of people like the cinema mode overall. And then we have the professional look, and I think it's a great profile for a lot of people who really are sensitive to bright light. I think the professional mode is going to be just fine for you. Another mode in here is called calm, and again, here's picture to calm, and then you have photo, and this TV does support IMAX Enhanced, and this is a really favorite for a lot of people who go to movie theaters because if it's recorded in IMAX, you definitely get a really good picture. In my opinion, you can go through these different settings, find one that you like. There's the cinema that everyone tells me that they like. Now we're going to enable Dolby Vision so we can see how this looks on this television. And if you own an Apple TV or decide to buy one, it has this feature called Match Contents and Match Frames. If you have it in Dolby Vision mode, just turn that on, and it'll make sure that everything that you watch is going to be in the best resolution. This is very interesting to me because a lot of TVs, when you put them in Dolby Vision mode, it gets really dark. But this TV appears to look a lot brighter. I mean, that's vivid mode, bright mode, dark mode. You have a few settings here, and this TV actually looks really good, especially in Dolby Vision. So I can see where that XR processor is ready to go for Dolby Vision content. And these are factory settings, but if you really want to, you can find a profile you like, and you can even adjust the brightness right here as well. So you can get the picture that's not gonna hurt your eyes or anything like that. Another thing you can do if you want to get a picture that you like, you can go into the menu and you can customize all these different settings like the brightness. You see right there, you have HDR tone mapping, black levels. So this TV has plenty of controls, so you can adjust everything exactly how you like it. And here's some footage from the TV so you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to tell you that the colors pop, they're realistic, and I think this TV is phenomenal when it comes to color reproduction as well as the clarity on the screen overall. So you are going to get a great picture on this television, but I will tell you, when it compares to OLED, there's no other technology that lights up the pixels when needed. So I want to do a few of the tests on it. First of all, I want to do a time lapse of a dirty screen effect. And as you can see, there's some spots on here where it's not perfect and it's not consistent across the screen. But being that this is a mini LED television, I think it does a really good job overall. Plus, you do get that additional brightness that you don't get on the OLED televisions at this particular time. The Bravia 9 also has a anti-reflective coating on it, so I want to show you that. And this is going to be great if you have a room with a lot of lights. It's going to keep all your glare to the bare minimum. And I also want to check out the viewing angle since it is a VA panel, and to my surprise, off axis, I don't think the colors were lost that much, just slightly, but it's doing a phenomenal job. And you could put this TV above your fireplace and wouldn't have to worry too much about those off axis color loss. The skin tones are very natural looking thanks to the Sony processing power, so everything is going to look lifelike And this TV handles blooming fairly well if you're sitting right in front of it, but you will start seeing a little bit of halo effect as you get over to the sides of it. But for me, it wasn't as bad as what you get on an IPS panel in some cases. If you didn't know this, Sony higher-end TVs have built-in calibrations, but you can still connect them to portrait if you wanted to calibrate the television. But if you log into Netflix, they have a dedicated calibration mode, and now they have added Amazon to this particular setup, where Amazon's servers has all the calibration settings from the company, so it automatically gives you this option on the Bravia TV. This feature will also work on the Sony Bravia core with the pure stream that takes 80 megabits per second to run to give you that Blu-ray like quality. Earlier on this video, we talked about the Sony Bravia 9 only having two HDMI 2.1s. This might not be the best solution, but they now have a feature called PS Remote Play. So if you had a PS5 and a PS4 or two PS5s, you can actually log into the other system and use it as a gaming console. And now, if you have a PS5, you can now take the Bravia 9 and connect it to your PS5, and using Wi-Fi and the credentials from your PlayStation account, you'll be able to use your console from another room and stream your gaming console on this television, which is a cool feature, especially for people who don't want to have two PS5 consoles. But I will tell you that the quality might not be the same, but at least you can play, and that's a good feature to have. The last few things I want to show you before we take a deeper dive into the menu system is that the Bravia 9 is powered by Google 12 operating system, and it has 16 gigabytes of memory. And I just recently figured this out on my X95L that I have at home, is that you can have a clock to be always on the television, but I have mine set up to pop up once an hour so I know what time it is if I'm looking at television. It also uses Apple AirPlay and HomeKit, so you can control some of the basic controls with Siri. And it has a built-in screensaver, so whenever you're not using the television, the ambient mode can kick in, so you always have something on the screen. But check this out. If you want to hook up headphones to this televisions like these Sony's MX5s, once you Bluetooth them to the television, you can use the Sony application to enable the full spatial surround. So you can have a headphone with surround sound on it using the Bravia 9 television. Now I'm going to show you some of the details in the menu system, and keep in mind I do have a bar timer on the screen so you can see how long it is, but if it's not important, just skip to the end and you can see my follow-up. Let's jump in. First of all, if you go to channel and inputs, you can click on external devices, and this will help you set it up to maximize the picture quality on the television. Under input management, you can take each input and give it a specific name so you know what you're selecting, so you'll know which device that you're using. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, if you have a cable and satellite box, will a TV control it? Well, Sony has this system where you can go into setup, you can find your model of the cable box, and what it'll do is it'll basically download the cable box settings and program the remote control via Bluetooth. It will scan the area for your cable box. You'll select whatever input you have it plugged into via HDMI. You'll then go ahead and put in your manufacturer characters. Once it finds the manufacturer, it'll allow you to control that cable box with the TV remote. Another feature I want to show you is called HDMI format with VRR. So input 1 and 2 runs at 60 Hertz. Some people have been saying that they only get 1080p. Well, you have to go into those inputs and switch it over to 4K, and this allows the image to be broadcast at the native rate. Now, keep in mind on input 3 and 4, these are HDMI 2.1s. If variable refresh rate is turned on, you only have one option, but you can turn that off and it'll highlight the other options so you can select the one that's going to be best for your particular device. But if you have a gaming console like a PS5 or Xbox Series X, make sure you leave this feature on so you get the best gaming. Now, Sony did change the menu on this television. If you go to display and sound, you normally got an option on the side here, but watch what happens when we press on it. All the other options you have are gone, so Sony now overrides this system and put their own interface into it. And I think I like this, but the thing is that when I was looking into this setting earlier, they did remove the picture zoom, so I couldn't find a way to zoom. So if you have 4:3 content, you won't be able to fill the screen anymore as far as I can find. And to get the best out of your signal, they now have this feature called content type. So right now we see video, images. Here you have game settings, and then you have PC settings. Now each of these have their own custom settings, so as you open these up, you can customize it for each device. And that's a cool feature. And the thing is, you can't switch when you're inside of the particular menu. You have to go back, switch back over, and now you have the options for the next device. So this allows anything that you plug into it. And you can see at the bottom now, all the settings in here for picture modes pertains to gaming. And go back over to video and images. When we press on picture, now all the settings has to do with the picture settings. So there's a lot of different options in here, and there's a lot of different options in here, and you can go down into these settings and you can customize them individually. Now when we go over to audio outputs, you do have an option for speakers as well as audio system. Now under audio system, this allows you to control Bravia enabled devices like the Bravia 9 sound system, Bravia 7, and use the HDMI and a cable to have control over that speaker. You can also set up Bluetooth devices like headphones, and there's a fiber optic output as well to go over to some of the other audio systems. Now this is interesting. Under TV speakers, I don't see any different profiles. And even when I pull up the main menu, I don't see any options for the TV speakers to control different surround sound effects like we had before. So at this point, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. And looking under custom settings, again, we're looking for options for the speakers. And again, I'm not seeing anything, but there is a feature called voice zoom. And this allows you to enhance the audio just on the voice, and it minimizes the audio tracks. And this has been a problem on a lot of different movies where they're whispering or talking low, and maximize the dialogue so we can hear the audio much better. And there's another feature called Ambient Optimize Pro. And what this is going to do, it's going to adjust the picture automatically to the light in the room, but you can override this if you like. But for people who don't really understand how to calibrate or anything like that, I think it's a great idea. Now, on my unboxing video, I did mention that you can get a camera, which I don't have here, but if you do buy the camera add-on, you'll have even more choices to get the best picture quality. Last part I want to mention on this part of the video is that there's a feature called acoustic audio calibration. Basically what it does, it takes the microphone that's connected to Bluetooth and it'll send out some signals to that remote control so it can maximize the sound of your room. But keep in mind, if you do have the camera, it does this automatically based off the amount of people in the room. But keep in mind, if you buy the add-on camera, it'll do this feature automatically. Wrapping this up, let's talk about the elephant in the room. $3,000 for a 65-inch TV. That seems expensive for my taste, but there's people out there who buy Rolls Royce, Lamborghini. So I think it all comes down to if you want the purest movie experience, this Sony television is going to deliver it for you. But for the rest of us, yeah, I take a $1,500, $2,000 TV like the Bravia X90L or even the Bravia 7, which I don't have and I might not get to review. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see how it goes. But this TV has a lot to offer. Picture quality, stunning. Movie, stunning. Audio, stunning. And I like the fact they put a light in this remote control, and I also like the fact with the new feet, now you can have sound bars that can go below the television, so it fits on most stands too. So I think Sony's really thinking about the consumer to give them the best experience. Build quality, premium. What else do you want in a television? So if you was to buy a TV like this, technology is always changing, but right now it's one of the best ones you can get, especially if the money's not an object. Now, as far as the cons for me, it might not be a con for everyone. I wish it had at least 3 HDMIs with a HDMI 2.1 on a separate port, because I do have a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Some people might not have that, but with this feature, now you can hook up your Xbox, and if you want a lower quality of your PS5, you can stream it through the app by hooking up a PlayStation controller to it. Another thing that was so-so, the blooming on it isn't bad. When you get off angles, you will see a little bit of it, but for me, it wasn't that noticeable. But, you know, you saw the footage. Other than that, I can't really think about too many things that are negative on this television. I think if you're looking for Sony, it's really worth the money if you want to go high end. I'm Tech Steve. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 200,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Help me out. Tell a friend. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.